All right, welcome to the Treasure Valley Rideshare podcast. And my name is Jeremy, and welcome to another bad story. So, today we're going to talk about bad drivers. So, these are not my experiences, these are experiences from other riders who have told me about their drivers. Now, full disclosure, I don't tell them I have a podcast and then ask them if they've had a bad ride. I ask them, if they've ever had a bad driver beforehand, kind of like as an opener. And then if they have a story or not, I tell them that I have a podcast. So none of these are made up. These are all true stories. And let's jump right in. So I had this ride for the Treasure Valley I picked up a mom. I don't remember exactly where we were, but it's not about me, so it really doesn't matter. So I get this girl in, and I said, hey, have you ever had a bad ride, a bad experience with ride sharing with a driver? And she goes, yeah. She goes, I had one the other week. And I said, or the other month. I was like, oh, okay, what happened? And we'll call the girl Mary. So Mary says, yeah, it was 2 or 3 in the morning, and I was drinking, but I wasn't trashed. I wasn't super drunk. Mary said, but I knew I was over the limit, so I called for a ride. And for those of you who don't know, that a lot of times, that's the reason, right? People just don't feel comfortable. They don't want to get a DUI, even if they have one beer. Like they're not gonna have one beer and drive. So that's a pretty common reason. So Mary's like, yeah, I knew I was over the limit, and I wasn't super trashed, but she goes, I was not gonna drive home. I said, okay, yeah, fair reason. Mary goes, so the driver pulls up. I get in. And Mary said, as soon as I got in, she goes, I could tell that there was something irritating the driver. And then Mary goes, but in all reality, at that time, she goes, I really didn't care. I just want to go home without a DUI. So, and she was telling me this. She goes, so if you could do that, if the driver at that time could do that, then we're good, right? Which in all fairness, yeah, the driver could be pissed off, who cares? Just get the girl home safely. So Mary was like, yeah, so he was pissed off about something. Mary said, right before we get on the freeway, he starts complaining about how much money he was making on this trip. And for me, as a driver, I'm like, oh, that's kind of a red flag. I was like, that's weird, Mary, because we know everything up front. I know roughly where I'm going, and I know how much I'm getting. So how could he be mad? He literally clicks, I accept. I accept the terms and conditions of this ride. So how could he be mad? And she goes, yeah, I don't know. And I'm like, okay, so go on. That's red flag for me, number one. Go on, Mary. What happened? And Mary goes, well, so he starts complaining about how much money he was making. And she goes, so right before we get on the freeway, he pulls over, stops the car, turns to me and says, if you want me to drive you the rest of the way, you're going to give me cash. And I said, wait, Mary, do you mean like a tip? Like, I'm really trying to figure out the context here. I said, do you mean like a tip, like cash tip? And she goes, no, he meant money, like more money, like additional money for the ride. I said, okay, so you're paying. I said, okay, so you're paying. You already paid for the ride on the app, and now he's telling you to pay him more money on top of that. And she goes, yeah. I said, okay, what did you do? She goes, well, I gave him $20. And I'm like, okay, Mary, why did you give him $20? And for those of you who are not listening, in the grand scheme of things, this is probably the smartest way to do this, right? You're in, for the females especially, you're in a car with someone you don't know. You don't know what their capabilities are. They tell you, give me cash, right? Who knows if it's aggressive? Who knows if they're going to leave you in the middle of nowhere? The easiest way to remedy this is to give them cash, right? But they definitely deserve a report of some kind to the rideshare company, to the police, whatever, right? Because at that point, it's extortion, right? If you don't pay me, I'm not driving you, right? But in all reality, you've already paid on the app. There's no reason to pay more. So that's called extortion. So Mary, back to the story, Mary says, well, I gave him $20. I was like, oh, why did you give him $20, right? Now I'm asking all the questions. I want to know exactly what happened. So I said, Mary, why did you give the driver an extra $20 on top of what you already paid for? And Mary goes, oh, well, because he locked me in the car. And I was like, okay, wait. Let me get this straight. I said, Mary, you're telling me this driver for a rideshare company clicks accepts the terms and conditions of the ride, says, yeah, the pay is fine, everything's fine, I'm not going to deny the ride, goes to your destination, gets you in the car, starts driving, goes off the beaten path because you don't have a stop during your route, do you? And Mary said, no, it was just straight home. I said, okay. So he goes off the beaten path to stop, locks you in the car, turns to you and says, and demands more cash. And she goes, yeah, that's exactly what happened. I said, okay, so he kidnapped you and he extorted you in one night. And she goes, I guess, yeah. I said, okay, did you report this guy? After the ride was done? And she goes, well, no, because now he knows where I live, right? For the rideshare company. I said, okay, good point. Did you do an anonymous police report? And she goes, no, but now that I'm talking with you about it, I probably should have. And I told Mary, I said, you definitely should have, because he's probably still out there doing this same thing. And I guarantee you, this guy is probably only doing it to females riding alone after they're going back from the bar drunk, right? Because they're not thinking straight. And I'm like, no, that is 100. That's not okay. That is not okay anywhere in any state. So if it were me, I would say minimum do a report to the rideshare company and get that guy blocked, right? Get that guy out of a job or something. Like, that's 100% not cool. You're not an Uber driver so you can get more cash out of people. You're there to help them out in a time of need, right? They need a ride home. They need you as the driver to get them there safely. And that's what's expected. It's not expected of a driver to ask more money because you don't agree with the ride. If you don't agree with the ride, that guy could have just simply declined the ride, and if he doesn't like it, get another job. I don't know. So not okay in any state for those of you who are listening. That is 100% not okay. It's called, some jail time, probably some prison time, if you want to push the issue. So after that, I asked Mary, I'm like, okay, hey, can I share this on my podcast? She's like, oh my God, you have a podcast? I'm like, oh yeah, this is definitely going on there for sure. So if you are that driver with Mary, an anonymous name, obviously, if you are that driver and you are hearing this podcast, you should probably stop your shenanigans. Yeah. Because, I promise you that everyone else listening to this does not appreciate you. Not cool. Not cool. I hope you embarrass yourself at a mall or something and everyone laughs at you. Yeah. So anyway, hey, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening to my podcast. Right now I'm flying solo because I'm trying to find a co-host. So if you're in the Treasure Valley and can ask a lot of questions, and meet once a week, you could probably be my co-host. So anyway, moving on. Thank you for listening and stay tuned for the next episode.